Hello all, welcome to Conduira WWC's webinar on studying in Canada, especially focusing on the colleges in Canada that will help you to get good job opportunities, that will help you to get a easy and a fast way to get Canadian PR. I am Sumanth Palepu, one of the directors of Conduira WWC, myself an engineer and then an MBA from IIM Kozhikode. I have been in this business of, or I've been in this industry of guiding students and helping them to various universities across the globe, especially for those of you looking to study abroad. Today, I bring to you my experience of dealing and sending students to various Canadian universities. What are they expecting? What do good Canadian colleges look forward to? What are the colleges as students we need to choose that will enable us a good career in Canada? I'm sure you are aware of the various opportunities in Canada, why people talk about Canada as a big destination for studying abroad. Of course, the primary one which stands right at the top has always been the ease at which you get a PR in Canada. That has been the primary reason why a lot of students from India prefer studying in Canada. Second, the cost of education itself in Canadian education system is a little lower compared to a country like US or any other country. That's also a reason why students prefer. But then end of the day, when you are planning to study in Canada, you also would like to understand what kind of colleges should you be looking at. Which are those universities where you have a high chance of getting admission? Which are those colleges which eventually will give you a good job opportunities? Because what fun it is to go away from your mother country to some other country if you are not getting a good job opportunity. So the primary focus would also be on understanding the colleges or universities which will help you to get good job opportunities. And as a dream of most of the people studying in Canada is to get a easier and the fastest way for Canadian PR, also understanding about what colleges will ensure you that path which will help you to get a Canadian PR. At the same point of time, you really don't want to spend a lot of money studying abroad because today education is so very expensive. You might also need to understand how can I optimize the ROI is what we typically call return on investment. How much am I investing and what is expected gain out of it. So these are the various points we are going to cover through my webinar today. As a process, you can keep asking me questions. Any doubts you have, you can keep filing them in the chat of YouTube, and I'll be more than happy to answer that to you as well. Alright, so on that note, let's get started. As I said, which are the colleges you need to choose in Canada which will help you to give you better jobs and faster PR? But the first step for you is to understand what are the different kind of colleges in Canada. Are you guys aware that there are a specific student partnership program colleges, what we typically or sweetly call as SPP colleges, available in Canada? Now this is possibly the set of colleges which are in tune or have been built for Indian students. What do they mean by Indian students? In fact, if you look at these SPP colleges, these are colleges which is like a collaboration of Canadian government and High Commission of Indian High Commission in Canada. They have come together, made an understanding that Indian students are possibly one of the best lot of students available in the world, and to develop the student base in Canada, especially for those skills which are very well in demand in Canada. They are realizing the fact that they have a dearth of manpower to fill those skills like design, skills like technology based, skills which focus on fashion, media and arts, construction management. You look at such kind of niche skills requires good manpower, and Canadian government has realized the fact that they are not able to feed this manpower internally. And when they looked around the globe to understand which are those countries which can provide me that manpower in mass, quality manpower in mass, needless to say, all eyes looked at India. And that is where they have come in agreement with Indian High Commission saying, fantastic, to enable that gap of skill which we have, the skill requirement gap which we have in our own country, where there are job opportunities available, but labor isn't available. Could we look at Indian students coming and doing the specific programs upskilling themselves, developing those skills so that the minute they complete their studies, they are ready to join the companies and they are ready to take up those jobs which are plenty in Canada. That has been the foundation of these SPP programs, what we typically call as a student partnership program. Now they encompass predominantly technical and practical skills across various sectors like technology, design, fashion, media and arts. You're looking at health sciences, hospitality and management, hotel management, HR. So these are the various sectors in which they are looking for a demand. There's a demand for manpower, skilled manpower, and to get that skill to Indian students, this specific program SPP has been come out with a fundamental basis that we will make the admission easier and the visa process convenient, especially for Indian students. Alright, but yes, the kind of courses which they offer through these SPP colleges are typically your diplomas and your postgraduate diploma kind of courses or certificate courses. I think that has been possibly one of the reasons why Indian students have never considered SPP college so seriously. Why? Because end of the day, you would not be getting a degree like masters, but you would be getting possibly a postgraduate diploma degree or a diploma degree for somebody who is pursuing their equivalent of bachelor's in India. Now, many a time what happens, Indian parents or Indian students always believe that, hey, I have not got a degree per se. Is it first of all valid globally? To give you a couple of understanding elements behind this, understand, I did my postgraduate diploma in management from IIM Kozhikode. In fact, none of the IIMs in India offer a degree per se. Their degrees are actually not valid. So what they offer is typically called as postgraduate diploma, PGDM. Yes, so I have been an IIM graduate. There are plenty of IIM graduates who get PGDMs or postgraduate diploma in management. Nevertheless, they are always in demand in job market. So end of the day, are you looking for a certificate or a degree which will help you to get a job, or are you looking for a certificate or a degree which has a degree mentioned on it? That is a primary difference. So if I were you, my strong suggestion and it would be, if something is helping me to get a job, even if it's a diploma, I don't mind going for it. And second, the diplomas or the postgraduate diplomas offered in Canadian colleges, SPP colleges, are accepted and are treated to be valuable across the globe. So you do not even have to have a concern about, oh, are they really not good a quality education system? No, they are valued. So A, you have a job opportunity irrespective of whether it has a degree or a diploma behind it on the certificate, and B, they are valued across. So in both those concerns are negated in this sense, and as a result, you should be considering this option seriously. Now, why do I say you should be considering this option seriously? And of course, each of these programs are for 2 years, like your masters. So there is no compromise on the degree per se. Now, why am I suggesting, or why am I saying SPP college has to be considered seriously? Because of the following advantages they offer. As I mentioned, the entire admission process into SPP colleges, especially good SPP colleges, is pretty easy in nature. In fact, it's an easier process you have, especially for Indian students. They are in favor of Indian students. Now, extremely low visa rejections, because they wanted more of Indian students. So Indian students applying have a very, very low visa rejection ratio. In fact, possibly one of the highest successful visa acceptances happen to SPP colleges in Canada. Now, and because they're all skill development oriented programs, so what happens? The chance of getting good job opportunities post completion of studies is pretty high, extremely high chance of getting jobs, because they have been specifically designed to fill their job requirement. It's like I have a program which is been designed to fill my job requirement, and I'm offering a training. So those of you who get a training from that program, the chances of getting a job is extremely high. Now understand something, irrespective of where you are, eventually if you're yourself getting a high chance of getting a job opportunity, is fantastic. That's a good news. Those are the kind of courses or diplomas you need to be picking up. Now, And the other advantage of studying in SPP college is it possibly enables a fast and a very easy way to a Canadian PR, because you get a job and 1 year you apply, through your TPR, you apply for a PR, and there's a very good chance of getting a PR possibly in 1 year time period. We would be looking at the PR process a little later, how do you get the faster and easier way of Canadian PR slightly little later, but just to give you an understanding, do appreciate the fact that this is possibly offers you a very fast and easy way, studying in SPP colleges. For me, one of the most other important advantage is point number 5. It is extremely suitable for students with average or low academics and average IELTS score. Yes, there are extremely good universities in Canada, just not in Canada, worldwide. But most of these universities also mandate a pretty high academic score and also extremely good IELTS score. That is an advantage SPP offers. It agrees, it possibly considers candidates with a lower or an average academic score. When I say lower or average academic score, possibly 50 to 55% in your bachelor's, if you're looking for a postgraduate, or a 50 to 55% in your higher secondary school if you're looking for a diploma, are also considered. IELTS score of 6, brilliant, you are in the game as well. So you don't have to score pretty high in your academics, you don't have to score pretty high in your IELTS exam, the test. That is where the other advantage. Possibly for average students like me or many of us, this is a fantastic opportunity. Now, even for students who have backlogs, brilliant. They're open for students who have backlogs too. How many universities or colleges in this world are very open for people who have backlogs? Very few. And SPP that way, another advantage. Backlogs, brilliant. You have a shot at things. The other advantage, no GRE is needed. You don't have to write GRE. Possibly considered as one of the tough examinations for students. You don't really have to write or bother about GRE. That's the other advantage. And it offers you a 2 years work permit post studies. The other issue a lot of students keep asking me, sir, if I study in SPP college, do I get a work permit? Fantastic, you are offered 2 years of work permit. Good enough for you to get a job, settled in a job too. Like in the US, 2 years is a fantastic news for you. Now there are enough number of SPP colleges for Indians. That means you have opportunities aplenty. If you really go into other countries, the possible challenge there is that the good set of colleges which will help you to get jobs are limited in nature. As a result, a lot of people are fighting for those few colleges. But in case of Canadian SPP colleges, the number is more significantly high to absorb a lot of Indian students. So almost each one of us who are applying to such kind of colleges has an opportunity somewhere lying for us. Alright? Now that suddenly makes the equation a lot more lovable, because I might be an average student, still I have an opportunity to fight and to get something. Alright? That's a good news for us. And the beautiful other element is that all these advantages at possibly the lowest or affordable tuition fee and the low cost of living. We are looking at a tuition, especially for SPP, we are looking at a tuition fee of what, 8 to 10 lakhs per year in Indian rupees. So cumulatively you are looking at a 16 to 20 lakh, you are completing your education. Now that is an advantage compared to any other country or any other university across. This offers one of the lowest tuition fee. In fact, that is one of the reasons why a lot of Indian students also prefer to go and study in Canada, because of the considerable low tuition fee. And especially in SPP, the bracket goes at slightly low. As I said, they have made a lot of things favorable to attract Indian students so that their internal skill requirement and manpower requirement is being fulfilled. Now when there is a demand and we are sitting on the supply side, it's an advantage for the supply side, because we are suddenly being seen pretty important in the demand equation. As a result, opportunities, job opportunities, visa processing, the tuition fee, everything is working in our favor. Alright, these are the many advantages being offered by SPP's set of colleges. Let us also look at then what it needs for us to get into this college. Yes, fantastic, everything looks to be rosy. There are some challenges as well. Some people have a negative thought process about SPP, saying, as I said, it is not a degree. Alright, these are the kind of challenges, but end of the day, I always believe one simple aspect, something which offers me a job opportunity, at the possibly at the fastest and the easiest way to move ahead in my career. That is for me, irrespective of what name it comes under, it's a gold mine for me. Alright, so let us also look at what it takes, what are the requirements possibly asked by SPP colleges in terms of admission. They have a minimum qualification. There are two kind of programs they offer. Typically, one set of programs post your 12th class, what we call as higher secondary school, which includes certificate, diploma and advanced diploma programs. And the second element are your postgraduate programs, postgraduate certificate or diploma. For this, the minimum qualification required is a bachelor's degree. One more advantage, you don't have to have 4 years bachelor's degree, 3 years bachelor's degree is also good enough. That means people who are pursuing their degrees, BComs, BBAs, BScs, all such kind of students can also look for a postgraduate diploma program. Suddenly the scope increases compared to a few countries where the mandate is on 4-year bachelor's degree. Here in SPP colleges, a 3-year bachelor's degree is also considered to be favorable for us, or open for the recruitment, or open for your admission. Yes. Now when it comes to academics, as I mentioned earlier, the expected minimum marks is somewhere around 50 to 55%, which is decent. So those of you who may not have a first class also are possibly given a short weight. IELTS 6 to 6.5 overall score with no band less than 5.5 to 6. That way they are pretty open for a low score as well. And backlogs anywhere between 5 to 8 depending on a few colleges. If you have backlogs not more than 5 or 8, you are eligible to get offer in here. There are some questions being asked. I think somebody has asked, does backlogs history affect master's admission? When it comes to master's program, answer is yes. Jalal, we would be coming into it. Private universities in their masters have a different segmentation. Public universities have a different category. So when we are looking at the private and public universities for the master's program, because the one which I am talking right now is SPP Colleges are offering a diploma program. Masters are offered by your private and public universities. So when we come to that, we'll look into that a little detail. But for now, to answer your question, a couple more questions. I think somebody was also asking about BTech percentage criteria in SPP, which I have already mentioned here. Right? Somebody was mentioning the screen is not clear. Just ensure that you're refreshing your internet, because you're also, maybe your mobile data is not supporting it. Just have a look at your internet now. Okay? So let me then, continue with this. So as I mentioned, the cost of study in SPP colleges is somewhere around 8 to 10 lakhs per year, depending on which college you're looking at. And an average cost of living, might it be any university or college in Canada, would be somewhere around 30,000 rupees per month as per Indian rupee, where you're looking at 3.6 lakhs per annum. So roughly, if you sum both of them, you're looking at somewhere between 11 to 14 lakhs spent per year, which includes your cost of education and living, and that's the kind of overall costing you're looking at admissions into SPP colleges. Now all that is fine, but what are the kind of salaries we can expect, and do we have a part-time opportunity? Yes, you have a part-time opportunities like anywhere else in the world. And the starting salaries, when you look at students who are passing out of SPP colleges, would be at a metric of 4,000 to 5,000 Canadian dollars per month. And what is a Canadian dollar? Today, it is somewhere around 54 Indian rupees. So purely on an Indian conversion, you are looking at a 2 to 2.5 lakh per month. And your cost of living invariably remains the same. So you are looking at a 3 to 3.6 lakhs of cost every year, or in fact 30,000 rupees every month, and you're looking at an earning of 2 to 2.5 lakhs every month. So look at the amount of profit you want to make. This is what I meant by return on investment. Fantastic return on investment. Yes, good enough for you to pay off your education loan if you have taken a loan. And that's good news is that Canadian, if you get a Canadian admission into SPP College also, banks are willing to provide you bank loans for education purpose. So in view of all these things, yes, it's extremely a favorable proposition for those of you looking to study in SPP colleges. And even if you look at the part-time opportunities, you are allowed to work for 20 hours every week in Canadian, in SPP colleges as well. And they typically pay you $10 Canadian dollars per hour. So you're looking at earning 200 Canadian dollars per week, almost 800 Canadian dollars per month. In addition, during academic breaks, you can also look at earning more of 1500 Canadian dollars. So if you're looking at and earning 800 Canadian dollars, you're still looking to, this could help you to take care of your living expenses. Alright, so in that way, the entire numbers, the revenue or the income which you're getting are good enough for you to take care of your living expense at least during a stage of your student, and post that you're only making more and more money out there. So that way, in every sense, the numbers are working in your favor extremely well. Yes. Now there are a few questions being asked like Shivakumar has said, sir, gap after bachelor's degree, will it admission into SPP? No, that's another advantage, my dear friends. SPP colleges are pretty open for the gap. As I said, see, look at SPP college in this simple segment. They want Indian students to come. They are favorable for that. So they have made all the rules and systems and process such a way that we are open to consider that. So even if you have a gap post your bachelor's, do not worry, admissions are not challenging, especially when it comes to SPP colleges. When you move higher on that league to public universities in Canada, then yes, the challenge becomes higher. We will see it a little later. But to answer your question, Sivakumar, no, gap is not impacting your SPP admission. Alright. Now let's look at the kind of job opportunities which are provided, kind of job opportunities which you get post completion of your diploma, postgraduate diploma or diploma. As I said, these are skill based jobs. In people who are in the computer science and IT side, you're looking at information system analyst kind of a role, database analyst. So these are all the kind of skill, software designers, computer programming, interactive media developers, web designers, cyber security professionals. Just not in your computer science and IT. You're looking at a favorable element in your business and finance side. You can look at banking, accounting, core engineering as well. Mechanical skill jobs are available. Engineering management is available. Chemical, brilliant. In fact, one of the industry which is doing extremely well right now in Canada are your biosciences and biotechnology. There are a lot of job opportunities in biotechnology and pharmacy and nursing arena. Okay, so in fact, those of you who come from biotechnology or a biosciences background, you should be looking at Canada as a destination because that offers you, especially in this area, fantastic opportunities. Now, similarly, if you're looking at performing arts or digital media, etc., media and journalism is also considered as a very hot industry and field in Canada right now. So these are the various elements of job opportunities which are available to you. In fact, I might not be able to cover each and every element in this webinar, but what I would request you is that those of you who need more information, there is a link which is already being put in your chat, ConduiraWC.com, where there's a lot of information provided to you about Canada, just not Canada, about almost every other country as well. You can always visit that place and get in information. In case any one of you want to understand it at a personal level, how does your profile get into what kind of colleges, what is the opportunity, you can book a free appointment with one of the Canada experts which we have in ConduiraWC. They will guide you, they will help you. It's all free of cost. There's nothing, you just have to put in your details and they'll help you in guiding you to understand what colleges, what courses, and what is the process you need to be following. So I would request you all, those of you who are interested to pursue or would like to understand more in detail about Canadian studies and how do we go about it, do visit ConduiraWC.com, Canadian information place, and put in, you can always request for a free appointment with a Canadian expert, study in Canada expert as well. Alright, just to move on, what are the few good SPP colleges? You're looking at Humber College, extremely good, Centennial. Now understand, these also offer private courses, but these are some of the colleges which offer good set of SPP colleges which you should be looking at it. Somebody was asking me Vancouver SPP colleges. Understand, Columbia College, Douglas College, these are all based out of Vancouver. Okay. So similarly in Toronto, you're looking at Humber, Centennial, George Brown. To answer, I believe Srinivas, Bodhibodi Srinivas was asking me all such kind of things. Alright, as Venkat was asking, sir, what are the courses of B Pharma graduates? Venkat, as I said, understand the fact that SPP colleges offer a lot of scope for pharmacy. So you can look at a post, if you've already a bachelor's in pharma side, you should be looking at a post graduation in pharma courses in SPP colleges. Yes, as I have mentioned, these are a few of the colleges which are looking good in terms of giving you a good job opportunity. So in such colleges, the chances of getting job is pretty high. So these are some of the colleges you should be looking at to get a good job opportunity. Now let's move on to the next segment. We have seen the SPP colleges. Let's now also focus on a few private universities. So the other category which is set of colleges in Canada are your private universities, typically owned by private donations. These are extremely business oriented universities. They come with their own advantages. Some of them include, in fact, FDU is supposed to be possibly one of the good colleges there. Fairleigh Dickinson University. We are looking at New York Institute of Technology, also has a campus out there. Quest University, Trinity Western University. So these are some of the good private universities. Now these universities don't offer diploma, but what they offer are your master's program. So for which kind of a student, what kind of student should be looking at private universities? Students who are looking for a career in management or computer science and IT are the people who should be looking at private universities. Now other streams of graduation or bachelors, I wouldn't really suggest private universities, because private universities are extremely favorable for those of you looking for a management studies or masters in computer science or technology side of it. But if you're looking for pharma or if you're looking for biotechnology, mechanical, core, then possibly private universities in Canada are not a good bet for you. Yes, so that's where the differentiation comes into picture. The advantage here is that you can get up to 3 years of work permit in private universities. Now that is where it is different from your SPP. But the requirements are also a lot more stringent. Bachelor's degree, they're looking for 4 years. Academics, they're focusing on a 60% academics. Alright. Now IELTS at a slightly higher score of 6.5, no band less than 6. Look at the comparison. In fact, I'll be putting a comparison a little later for you to understand the fact that score here has to be higher. Now some top private universities are also nowadays asking for GRE score. So that also brings in one more equation. You might have to look at GRE score of a score of 290 plus. Yes, backlogs, even in private universities, up to 5 backlogs are accepted. So there are certain advantages, the fact that it's extremely good for management and computer science students, but the requirements are also slightly on a stringent side, which you might have to look for and check out if you can follow that category. But do also understand that some of the top private universities are nowadays asking for GRE scores of 290 plus. When it comes to cost of study in private universities, compared to your 8 to 10 lakhs in SPP, here the cost of study per year is 10 to 12 lakhs, while the living expense remains the same. So here the cost of expense is slightly higher because they are private universities and because you are being offered a master's program, which is possibly similar like an Indian student, like an American student, like a Chinese student, China student. So you are seen as one in among everybody. The reason why SPP have been modeled so favorable for India, because they have a particular purpose. But private universities operate like any other private universities worldwide. Alright, so that's where the cost is possibly 10 to 12 lakhs. Still comparatively lesser when you look at an education in the US or so. However, compared to an SPP college, the cost of education for a private university is on a slightly higher side. Some questions being asked. Let me look at a few questions. So, could you also provide info about which college to target for MBA? As I mentioned, mentioned Tushar, for management, private universities are good. Which is better, private or public university? Now, this is where I am going to come into public. Alright. Now, how important is SOP for getting admit? Of course, yes, statement of purpose is a very critical element, especially when you are looking at admission into management courses in private universities or admission in public universities. Now, this is where I am bringing the public universities into picture. Look at the public university game plan. These are possibly one of the best set of universities in Canada, just not Canada, worldwide. Okay. In fact, some of them include University of Toronto, ranked around 30, University of Alberta, McGill University is supposed to be one of the best universities across the globe. So, Canadian public universities are extremely good, limited in number. So, the drawback here is they're limited in number, and they only look at quality students. They only look at students who have extremely good performance. They also offer master's program. Now, because they are the top universities, see them like your IITs and IIMs of India, and hence the guaranteed jobs in such universities, extremely high probability of getting a job, 3 years work permit, and there's also an additional possibility of getting scholarships. Somewhere around 40 to 50% of your fee can be avoided in the form, you can get in the form of scholarships. Requirements, they're looking at a bachelor's degree of 4 years. Because it's a master's program, you should have a bachelor's degree of 4 years. Now look at the marks, 70%. So 7 CGPA or 70%. IELTS score becomes extremely critical here. 7 band is what public universities look forward to. No band less than 6.5. And the other crunch element in public university admission is that most of these universities look for a GRE score and a score of 300 to 310 plus, and without any backlogs. So if you have strong academics, if you have a good IELTS score, if you possibly have a good GRE score without backlogs, trust me my dear friends, nothing can beat public universities in Canada. Not even SPP. SPP is possibly for average or people who are low on academics and Aam kind of a low. But SPP are possibly, your public universities are, for the best of the best, a lot of students. So yes, and as a result, the opportunities are also going to be extremely good in public universities. So those of you who are aspiring to get into the top set of colleges and universities in Canada, you should be looking at public universities. The cost of studies is expensive. It is 14 to 15 lakhs per year. But at the same point of time, there is a good chance of getting a scholarship also. As a result, the overall cost will come down. Now, cost of living remains the same. And as far as the courses are concerned, it is good for most of the courses. In fact, it is actually additionally good for people who are looking at pharmacy, biotechnology, biosciences, mechanical also. Apart from your general management and computer science, okay, you should be also looking at pharmacy, biotechnology kind of people. Those of you looking at good universities should also be focusing on public universities. Alright. Now what I do is that before I answer a few questions which I am seeing on the chat, let me put across yes, salaries both for public and private. If you look at it, you can expect anywhere between 5,000 to 8,000 Canadian dollars, that is somewhere around 2.5 to 4 lakhs per month, and the part-time is also slightly higher compared to your SPP colleges. So just to give you look at the way people are focusing on, those of you are looking into maybe software engineer kind of a job, you're looking at an annual anywhere 50,000 Canadian dollars to possibly 95,000 Canadian dollars. So some extremely good salary brackets is what we're looking at when it comes to Canadian public universities, and to an extent private universities also. So compared to an SPP set of colleges, the payout, the salaries which you can expect in a private are slightly higher, and the salaries you can expect in a public university's post-year studies are even more higher. That is how the classification and the difference of these colleges, university comes into picture. Now what I have done for the for the benefit of most of the students is to put across a comparison snapshot across various colleges like SPP colleges, private, public, on every element, how are each of them compared with each other. And then I now will ask you a few questions, I'll answer a few questions. I think Shashank is asking me a question, is there any chance for getting admission of 57% into a public university, Shashank? 57% I believe is on the lower side. So if you have a 57% in your bachelor's, you should be looking at an SPP college. Alright, public is extremely challenging, private is also, you are on the borderline. So my strong suggestion and recommendation would be SPP set of colleges. Okay. I have done diploma, now I am pursuing BTech. Now can I get admission to public university in Canada? Yes, you can still get an opportunity, Avinash, public university that way. That also depends on your bachelor's score. Okay. If I have more than 8 backlogs, like 9 to 10, what about for SPP colleges? Sinduri, you are on a, if you have more than 8 backlogs, then it could be a slightly difficult element, but nevertheless, ensure that you are closing off at least 2-3 backlogs before you are applying. As simple as that. You know the cutoff is 8, so play around with that number, finish off a few backlogs even before you are applying it. Okay, so that way do not really worry about it. Okay, now as I said, is SOP required for admission or for a visa process? For an admission, yes, into good universities, answer is yes, Vamsi. For a visa process, no visa process, the dependency is a different game. Today I might not be able to take up the visa process in this webinar, because this webinar is specifically focused on colleges, but in a different webinar I would be taking up on a visa process. Meanwhile, in case you have any doubts, you would like to get an appointment with a Canada expert, including me, I would request you to visit ConduiraOnline.com. Where you can book an appointment, a free appointment with an expert. One of us will get in touch with you. We will guide you, understand your queries in person, because I know there are a lot of people who are attending the webinar right now. I might not be able to answer all the questions, because at the same point I also need to share you knowledge with you too. So I would request you to visit ConduiraOnline.com. The link has been shared on the chat window. Click on it, enter there, leave your details, book an appointment. Fantastic. We will get in touch with you, clear each and every doubt of yours, and guide you appropriately. Right? So let us first look at this chart. Now, just for your comparative snapshot, as I mentioned, SPP colleges offers a diploma or postgraduate or certificate programs, whereas private and public offers master's program. Duration across have been 2 years. The basic qualification required, if you are looking for a diploma or a certificate, you are looking at a highest secondary school or 12th class. For a postgraduate, you are looking at a bachelor's. But for private, bachelor's is compulsory. Academics, the minimum is 50 to 55, 60 year and 70 in public. IELTS, lower side of IELTS, 6 is also good enough for SPP, but private 6.5, for public it has to be 7. And when I say no band less than 6.5 or 6, somebody has asked me, sir, what do you mean by no band less than something? IELTS has 4 sections, and each section is measured in a band. So none of those sections your score should be less than 6. That is what I meant by no band less than 6. That means individual sections also you should have a minimum score of 6 or a minimum score of 6.5 in case of public universities. But in case of SPP, even if you have a 5.5 in any of the bands, any of the sections like listening or speaking or reading or writing, good enough, you are still eligible for an admission. So that is what I meant by band less than something. GRE not needed at all for SPP. For some top universities needed in private, and you are looking at a 290 plus score, and for most universities GRE is needed. For public universities 300 to 310 plus score. Backlogs 5 to 8 accepted, but for private universities 5 backlogs is fine, but for your public universities no backlogs. You have a 2-year work permit, 2 to 3 years, and 3-year work permit. Cost of studies, as I said, is on an increasing order as you go on, but at the same point of time, scholarships are extremely low for SPP, but there is a good chance for private and extremely high chance when you are looking at a public university admission. Job opportunities are very high in SPP. As I said, these are specifically made for giving jobs. High in management and computer science for private. High in almost all the courses when it comes to public universities. And average salary also is on an increasing metric in universities. Visas for SPP extremely negligible rejection. Same is the case public universities. In private universities, visa rejection is possible. So this chart is possibly for you to understand, it's possibly gives you a snapshot of which colleges, what universities, how do they stand. So if I am an average student, okay, if I am somebody who is low on academics, if I am somebody who has a less IELTS score, if I am somebody who has not given GRE and I am not interested in giving GRE, if I am somebody who is trying to look for an opportunity suitable, then for me SPP is good. If I am possibly one of the best set of students, public universities. I don't want to go into any diploma courses, but I am not a good student, then you are looking at a private university. So for average or people who are low on academics and low on examination scores, you should be looking at SPP. For those of you who are extremely good in academics and have good scores in your various tests, look at public universities. So if I were you, or if you were to ask me a suggestion, I would ask you to choose between, depending on which profile you suit into, a private university, an SPP college, depending on the profile you have, or a public university if you have a good profile. That is where the classification should look at. Now if you look at the Canadian PR per se, how do people get Canadian? Why is Canada so popular for PR? Because of this number, 1 year. There's a high chance of getting a PR in Canada with 1 year. Typically what happens is that any of this, whether it be SPP or private or public university, the minute you get a job, when you have 2-3 pay slips, you can apply for a TPR, temporary PR. And if you are working, if you are staying in one of the coldest provinces of Canada, Canada has 10 provinces, I'm sure you're aware of it, and Canada also has extreme temperatures. So there are some really cold provinces, there are warm provinces. So if you are staying, or if you have a job in a cold province, trust me, you can get a PR in 1 year. Why are Canadian government doing that? To increase the population of people who are living in that cold places, they are offering PRs fast and easy. Okay, but on the contrary, if you are on the moderate or on the other set of provinces, then it is going to take you 3 years of time, approximately 3 years to get a PR. And the condition in Canada to get a Canadian PR is that you should have a continuous stay. That means you cannot in between come to India and go back. Then you cannot expect your PR. Okay. So there, in case of moderate provinces, 3 years of continuous stay to get a PR. In fact, to be very extremely precise, the number I believe right now is somewhere around 1056 days. Okay. But the advantage is that the minute you get a PR, you can move to any province. So even if you have got a PR, say in Saskatchewan or Alberta, later on you can move to Toronto or Vancouver. That is possible. So the first key point here is to get a PR. That is where people typically have 3 paths. In fact, this is like a final guidance from me. What are the smart paths followed by successful students? What do people do? They typically have 3 paths to choose. Path 1, people get in, especially Indian students, average Indian students. In fact, I keep repeating average multiple times because I believe that most of the students in India do belong to an average category. Maybe average academics, average IELTS score. Okay, that's the kind of set of people I'm looking at. So such kind of students, what do? They generally take the one of the paths 1 or part 2. They get an admission in SPP college, then they pick up a job in a cold province, and getting a job from SPP college is pretty convenient because most of the students get jobs from SPP colleges. They prefer a location which is cold province. That is also easy to get because a lot of Canadians or non-Indians don't prefer to go to a cold province like a Saskatchewan, like an Alberta, and these are all good provinces. Just because the temperature is cold doesn't mean it is bad. In fact, temperature in Kashmir is cold. Doesn't mean it's a bad place to stay. And of course, apart from all the other issues we have out there. But as I said, so what do Indian students do? They get an admission in SPP college. They pick up a job in a cold province. They get a PR in 1 year. Then smartly, what do? Because you get a PR, once you get a PR, you can then look for a master's in public university. The beauty there is that then Canadian banks themselves will give you a loan to do your master's. Then they get a better job, and then they move to a province of their choice. So the minute they get a PR, either then itself they move to the province of their choice, or people also look at doing a further master's in public university. Have you understood this flow? So what people do is that they first join SPP college. Easy to get admission, no visa rejection. Once you do an SPP college, you get more or less, you get a good job, a job, starting job. Then they pick up a job in a cold province. Stay there for 1 year, get a Canadian PR. The minute they get a Canadian PR, they have two choices. One, either they can shift to any other province then. So they either shift to a Vancouver or Ontario or any other province or British Columbia. Second, what they do is that they would like to enhance their degree now, so they do a master's from a public university. Why? They already have a skill-based degree, they have an experience of 1 year in working, they have a PR, so all this will work in favor for them to get an admission into a public university. Look at the smart thinking. Now the minute they get admission to public university, banks will give them a loan because they are already a PR. The beauty in Canadian PR system is that banks will give you a loan. Just not to do your education, even if you want to set up a business, banks will give you a loan if you have a PR there. That's the reason why the other route generally students follow is that after they do PR, they get a Canadian bank loan and they set up their own business. That's the second path Indians typically do. They work in a cold province, get a PR in 1 year, they get a bank loan, and then they start their own business. So if you are choosing this, you have three ways looking at it. Either after you get a PR, you can shift your province, or do your masters, because now it's easy to get a masters in public university compared to the first time around, and then you get a even more better job, province of your choice, because you already a Canadian PR. Or the minute you get a PR, you get a bank loan, you can set up your own business also. The other path Indians take is possibly the high-end path, where they get an admission into public university, as a result get a high-paying job, but still they go and work in a cold province for 1 year. Why? Because they would get their PR if they're working in a cold province, and then they move to the province of their choice. Okay, this is typically the path followed by a lot of Indian students who have successfully settled and got PR in Canada. Yes, you can also go through a different way of joining, getting into a moderate province, staying for 3 years and getting a PR. I'm only trying to put across some of the fastest way to get a PR. So can we survive in this cold temperatures? The answer is yes. Yeah. I mean, there are people who are living there, and Indians can do that. There are a lot of Indians who are doing that. Yes, it is going to be harsh for that 1 year. Fine, 1 year we would possibly take that effort and pain. And why are we doing all these things? Because we have a fantastic career. The minute you get a Canadian PR, you have wonderful benefits. In fact, in Canada, while you are studying itself, your spouse can come and work also, unlike in the US. Alright, so these are the various advantages being offered in the Canadian system. Yes, so I think from my side, more or less I have put across all the points which are relevant. What I will quickly also do is that try answering a couple of questions before we close the session for the day. And before I close, I repeat, those of you who have further doubts, who need a further guidance on understanding the Canadian colleges, how do we go about it, want to speak to an expert. Yes, Conduira WWC has a huge set of experts. I'm just possibly one of them. You can talk to our experts. You just visit ConduiraWWC.com, which has been the link has been shared with you in the chat. Ask for a book for an appointment. Ask for an appointment, and we will reach you out. Do ensure that you're getting your doubts clear, your profile possibly vetted, so that you understand what colleges you might be looking to go get into, and then brilliant, you can take off your career from there, right? A few questions which I would like to answer. Which is the best intake to apply for jobs? I mean, typically you should be looking at a fall cycle like in the US. Canada also operates on a fall and a spring cycle, your August, September and your January cycle. Generally, more opportunities, more admissions happen in your August, September cycle as compared to your Jan cycle. So the number of colleges or universities which are offering admissions are itself going to be higher when it comes to your August, September fall cycle. Will every SPP college give 2 years work permit? See, whenever I talk about every college, in any category you look at, barring your public universities, either a private university or SPP college, there are some bad colleges too. Let's be very honest. You look at in any country, education system, aren't there bad, aren't there poor colleges or bad colleges? So barring those bad colleges, most of the other good, average set of SPP colleges offer you a 2-year work permit. In fact, 2-year work permit is not offered by a college. 2-year work permit is offered by the government after you complete your studies. So for somebody who does an SPP studies, unless you are, there's something which you have done wrong in those 2 years, that means you have picked up possibly some kind of an issue, some kind of a fight, some kind of a racial issue. Unless you are doing something which is not right for the government, you can expect a work permit. Okay, that is not something a college offers, that is something which a government offers. Yes. So I have no backlog, but IELTS is 7. Will I have a chance to get into university? Answer is yes. You don't have the backlog, you have a score of 7 in IELTS. You might also have to try giving GRE examination also, so that you have it also on your, in your kitty. So when you're applying, you have all your arms ready, all your arsenal ready, entire arsenal ready to get yourself an admission to one of the best universities, right? So I think we're kind of well past time. What I would request you is that those of you who still have queries or doubts, kindly put it across on Conduira WWC, and we would be more than happy to keep answering them, addressing them. I will once again see you guys in a different webinar on Canada, on a different topic. Maybe this time I'll focus more on the visa, the entire process there, so that a lot more of your questions are clear. In case we believe there are a few more questions to be answered, yes, I would answer them. But for now, I'm signing off. Thank you all for attending this webinar. Hope you have got an understanding about what colleges, what kind of profiles, what kind of colleges, and what is which will help you to get good job opportunities, which will help you to possibly get a good route to getting a Canadian PR the fastest way. Hope you have enjoyed the session. I will see you guys once again in a different session. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Good night. See you. Bye bye.